Hello and welcome back to the game room. You know what I love? Video games. You know what I love? Talking about games. And it seems like a lot of people these days who cover games seem to hate them. Or at least the people who play them. Well, that's not me, and that's not the 3,120 of you beautiful people checking out this video here today. We are doing something a little different today. So unlike the evergreen content I have been making, after a little over a week, most of the information in this video is going to be worthless. But if you wanted a time capsule, or if you have been getting into collecting post the Xbox store closing down, here's some DLCs that you probably are going to wish you had gotten, or maybe you can look for an Xbox hard drive that has this stuff on it. But we're going to go over some free DLC, we're going to go over some paid DLC, and then we're going over some digital games that for the most part I think are going to be locked on the 360, but don't hold me to it. But if that sounds like fun to you guys, let's check it out.
There's a lot of games out there, some of which you've never even heard of. That's where I come in. My name's Luke. I've been playing games since the age of 2, and I have no life.
This is my game room.
Okay, so this has been a fun week. Now, there's been, unfortunately, no new discounts or no new sales that we've been promised or heard about for the Xbox 360 store. So I did have to pay up for some of this stuff. You know, there were games out there that I was hoping would get the 90% off treatment, things of that, which we're going to talk about some of those. But for the most part, those games, some of them aren't great, in my opinion. But one that I started with, that after playing this game on the 360 recently, there was a DLC, not DLC, a download-only, quote-unquote, sequel, and that game is Backbreaker Vengeance. So there's a sequel to this. It's $15. If you remember when I originally spoke about this game, which now I have way more information on thanks to one of you guys in the comments, that basically this was the Euphoria engine that was then licensed by Rockstar and used in Red Dead Redemption, and then they eventually bought it out and combined it with their own, and that's what's used in GTA 5, etc., which explains why the graphics and the feel is so good in those games, but especially in Backbreaker. Well, the mode I really liked, which was Tackle Alley, in Backbreaker Vengeance, that tends to be all they focused on. So I didn't see a regular football mode. Instead, you have Tackle Alley, you have a Vengeance mode where now you play as the tacklers, and then there's a Supremacy mode where you're playing with 4 different people, and then one of you will then lose and then become the tackler. And it's just, it's awesome. It's really, really freaking cool. For $15, I would recommend getting this one, even over the original Backbreaker. Now, there's no cool gauntlet where you're doing 100 waves at once. They kind of split it up between, I think, 19 different chapters on each one. So you do 5 in a row, and then you have a top score, and then you go on from there. And now I don't know if the leaderboard's going to be shut down, but there's not many people playing it. You know, I played a little bit of Tackle Alley, and I think after completing 4 or 5 of them, I was ranked number 11th in the world for the week. But still pretty cool and neat, and something for $15. Yes, it's expensive, but this is nowhere else. There's no physical copy of it, and like I said, Tackle Alley was the thing that had me really loving that $25 game, Backbreaker, and this game takes it to the next level. So not only are you just juking, now you have guys that will then know and tackle you. You have ones that will go and try and undercut you. So they're different. So the blue guys are the normal guys. The red ones will dive at you, and then the yellow ones you have to hurdle, or vice versa. Or no, the yellow ones you have to slide under. And the controls are even more integrated. It's great. It's great. Backbreaker Vengeance. If you buy nothing else on this list, I would recommend that one whole hog. Now, another one that has a download-only sequel would be Naughty Bear. Not even Gold Edition, just Naughty Bear. There's a game called Naughty Bear Panic in Paradise. And Naughty Bear reminded me of a game that was very much like Dead by Daylight, or one of those asymmetrical killing games, but you're just going around killing robot or computer characters. But it was very long-winded and kind of broken. Panic in Paradise sort of removes all that extra fluff and gets you straight to the point. You're a bear going in there and killing other bears. And they made it easier to activate the environment kills because you can go and sneak up behind a bear and then hit the A button to basically get them into a chokehold. And then you have the option to scare them or kill them. Or if you're near an environmental kill, you can throw them at that environmental kill. And for $15, once again, this is another $15 one. So yes, it is pricey. In my opinion, it is more worth it than getting Naughty Bear. Because the kills were funnier, the variety, throwing a bear into the water and watching a shark eat it, or a Venus flytrap. It's not a great game, definitely not a great game, but something that I enjoyed for an afternoon. It's got some fun kills, it's got some fun ridiculousness. So another one I would recommend picking up. Like I said, it's $15. It's a little pricey, but if you enjoy Naughty Bear Gold, it'd be a shame not to have that one. Okay, now getting back to the download-only game. So this is one that is completely devoid of any other game, as far as it's not a sequel on the Xbox, but it is a sequel. So I'm going to use a blank case because I'll probably superimpose the title. But that game is Vandal Hearts 3. Now, I think it's Vandal Hearts Fire and Blood or Flame of something. I probably should have... I just wrote down Vandal Hearts 3. But as a huge fan of the Vandal Hearts series, now this game is still available on the PSN store. It's not a great game, but if you have played Vandal Hearts, it's a tactical strategy role-playing game. And I believe the game was $10 or $15. I bought this several months ago. I was hoping this one would go on sale because it's really, really fun. It's like a bite-sized PS1 RPG. If you've played the original Vandal Hearts, it's got callbacks to it. It has a nice squad of characters. The magic users aren't nearly as overpowered, and it kind of, like, it's weird playing the two, but at the end of the day, it's really overpowered to just use your range weapons. But it's fun. It's a fun, bite-sized, turn-based RPG. The graphics are jank, don't get me wrong. They are not great graphics, but as far as an experience of that era, very, very enjoyable and very Vandal Hearts. If you played the Vandal Hearts games, yeah, it's a little, like, the graphics are not pretty to look at, but it is a fun experience overall, and one that I hate that it's locked. There's no physical copy of it. There's nowhere else to get it. So that one is one I would still recommend picking it up before it's gone forever, and probably will never be heard from again. Alright, another one that is digital only is a game that I've talked about before called Crimson Alliance. Now, the funny thing about Crimson Alliance is it will allow you to download it and play the first couple of levels before it makes you pay for the whole game. Now, you can buy individual characters, so there's an assassin, a wizard, or a warrior, or you can buy all the characters for, I think, an extra $5 and unlock everything. And then that unlocks the game, and then there's DLC, like a $5 DLC you can unlock too. It's a Diablo clone. I have fond memories of this game because it was one of the first Xbox arcade download games I downloaded. I played it with Jen when we were first dating, like way, back in 2010, 2011. It's not a great game, but it's fun, and it's sadly locked to the Xbox 360, and is one that I always talk about. Not many people... I've noticed that more and more people have brought it up lately, but for a while there, no one talked about it, and this is one that I think is very underrated, very enjoyable, and I would recommend picking it up. I think it's $15 plus, so it's $20 total. I wish... Why did they not put these things on sale? These things should be $1. Anyways, that's one I'd recommend checking out. Very fun game. One I could stick my hat on. Now, if you want to know about one that has gone on sale that is worth picking up, that would be Strider. So Strider is a kind of a HD reimagining of the classic Strider arcade game. I don't really have a dog in that race. I believe it was on sale for either $1 or $1.99. So just stupid, just buy the damn thing. It's well worth that. It kind of has more of a Metroidvania feel than just a standard level-based feel. I played a little bit of it. It was fun. It was decent enough. I enjoyed it. I think it's well worth, especially the entry price. You can't beat it. Speaking of the entry price, another game that you should pick up, although it does feel like it's developed to be a mobile game, but it is from one of my favorite racing series, and that is Burnout Crash. So Burnout Crash is 50 cents. Even if you don't think this game is for you, it's 50 cents. Come on. Like, come on. 50 cents. There's definitely 50 cents worth of enjoyment. So if you know the Burnout series, there's a mode called Crash Mode where you can send your car out into an intersection and then you cause all of this damage to an intersection. Eventually you can blow up your car again in slow motion. You can move it around to try and make a bigger crash. Well, take that, put it into a top-down kind of GTA perspective, mobile game type presentation, and that's what basically Crash Time is. Now, I will say it's a little annoying how they segment the levels so much into different areas, where it's just like, can we just that's what Super Meat Boy got right. It's like you beat a level, you go on to the next level. Let's make it fast. You don't have to have so many load times between everything. And the way the levels work is that you have a meter, a crash meter, and you can't let a certain amount of cars escape. And as you build up the meter, events happen until finally you get to a stage clearing event, which then totals up your score, and then you can move on from there. It's not much to it. It's very Angry Birds-esque in that it's a single screen game, but there's nuances in there. You can re-explode your car after a meter goes up, so that allows you to constantly be moving backwards and forwards. So if you're familiar with the regular Burnout Crash, usually you can do that one time. In this one, you do it sometimes 15, 16, 25 times in the same match. In fact, if you get your car into a hole, you even get your car back and can drive and go into a new pathway. And it's dumb fun for 50 cents. Like I say, I don't want to harp on the 50 cents, but yeah, 50 cents. Pick it up. You won't regret it. All right, here's one that I did kind of regret. Once again, it was 99 cents, and we're going to talk about two games here that were 99 cents, but the first one we're talking about is the Fancy Pants Adventure. Now, it has my same issue with where are the levels, so just take me to the next level. Don't have me searching this overworld and open a door and get to the next level. It's multiplayer. I think it's 4-player local co-op, so it's fun. It's 99 cents. I believe it was based off of a Flash game or something of that nature. It's physics-based, but it's kind of like you're actively choosing, and there's no physical version, but you're actively choosing to play a poor man's Super Meat Boy that is not as enjoyable. And even for 99 cents, I kind of felt like, yeah, I guess I'm glad I have it, but I didn't really enjoy it. So that's how I felt about that, and I also felt that way about Dust Force. So Dust Force, you could kind of see it's almost an identical clone to it as far as it's a 4-player co-op, I believe, on the same screen. But in this one, you're going around cleaning up dust. Again, you have to search for the levels. You can't just go to the next stage. I think more than anything, that's what was really ticking me off about it. It's like, my God, I just want to sit down and play the game. Why after all these stages do I have to go find another door? This is really irritating. And I wouldn't have thought that, but it just, even for $1, I wasn't enjoying it. I wasn't enjoying it. And that's what happened a lot in these Xbox arcade games, is that a lot of these felt like mobile games. You got to remember, the ability to download a game to your console was brand spanking new. And this was only after the iPhone had been out for 2-3 years anyways. So a lot of this stuff, you would notice trends where they would have this overworld and then these areas where you would have, bronze, silver, gold, and that's what keep you doing your play times. You see the damn advertisements. It's funny. It for $1, worth picking it up, but not my favorite one of the bunch. Now, one that was on sale that I did really enjoy was a game called Warp. So Warp, on the other hand, I think was also $1.50 or $2. Starts off like you're this weird alien creature in a space station, and you're going through these puzzles, and then suddenly you get your power to teleport. So that makes things go haywire, then everything shuts down, and you're going around, and eventually you realize you can teleport into objects and then explode them. Well, there's also something early on where you can jump into a human. And I'm like, well, of course, I can't help myself. Can I do the explode thing? Yep, yes you can. And immediately it became this is fun. So you have these soldiers coming at you with a machine gun, but you jump into them and then Neo them from the Matrix, explodiate their body, and already hooked. Probably by far the best game I bought on sale. And this one was kind of a Metroidvania as well, because you're going around collecting these chubs, I guess they're called, or these pink things, that then you can upgrade your character. Probably of all the ones that I didn't already previously own that I bought on the sale, this was my favorite one of that batch, so one I'd highly recommend picking up. Now, another one that I got sadly before the sale, and it did go on sale, and this is because I've mentioned before that I do these videos where I talk about sequels I was unaware of, and a sequel that I definitely was unaware of, I found out about this when I picked up Arkham Origins, was there is a 3DS title called Arkham Origins Blackgate that was exclusive to it until they came out with a digital version on the Xbox 360 called Arkham Origins Blackgate Deluxe, I think, or something of that nature. Anyways, it pretty much takes the Arkham Asylum style of Batman games and turns it into a 2.5D beat 'em up. And it's pretty clever. It's a little unresponsive. You'll notice a lot of these arcade games back in the day, they kind of feel like they are not, they're unresponsive or a little floaty, or they just don't have very tight mechanics. I think that's one of the things that really made games like Bastion and Super Meat Boy and Braid and things like that stand out, is that you, even if they're physics-based, you feel like when you move the character, it's moving in time with you, versus some of these other games like Fancy Pants and Dust Forest and Blackgate, you would hit a button, but it felt a little disconnected from the controller, in my opinion, giving it that mobile game feel. But this is a solid one, especially now that I believe it on the sale, it's $5. So for $5, this is a game that's going to completely disappear off consoles. I'm pretty sure the 3DS version did have a physical, but that might have been digital only too. And more or less, it is a side story to Batman Arkham Origins, and you're going through, you end up in a similar prison style. It's got the same counter, it's got the same, it's like the game Light. So you can go onto perches and, you know, trap people. You have the detective mode. It's pretty damn cool, to be honest with you. If you're a fan of the Batman games, it's been long enough now where this is definitely one where, for $20, which I stupidly bought, it was mainly just so I could talk about it. But now that it's on sale, I'd recommend everyone pick this one up, because it's serviceable, it's cool, it's something that we probably aren't going to see an actual release of, and why not? Why not? So that's definitely one I would recommend picking up. All right, and then getting to the last couple of the ones that are download only. So this is one that I saw recommended on several channels, and I was a little hesitant to buy it because it didn't get a sale, especially as I'd already spent all this other money, but I finally broke down and I picked up Renegade Ops. I loved this game. This game was incredible. It felt like a mixture of a twin stick shooter, Jackal, mixed with Desert Strike, that kind of interactivity. Things blow up real good. You have a health bar. You have 4 different characters you can play as that have slightly different loadouts, and it's just a lot of dumb fun. So I really enjoyed playing it. Pick this one up for sure. Pick this one up, and also there's a $5 DLC that pretty much is a second campaign. So more or less, I would think of it like it's $15 for the game, because I would not just buy the base game, because that gets you the Inferno campaign, but then you can get the Cold Strike campaign for an additional $5, which I believe is just as long as the main one. So highly recommend this game. And that's kind of funny, like compared to the discounted games, the ones that were $1, $1.50, if you're thinking between 5 of those or this one game, I would pick this one game because it feels exceptional to play. The controls are great. It's responsive. Doesn't have that slowdown issue. Doesn't have, like, it's just, there's a reason why so many YouTubers have recommended this one. This one is phenomenal. And then another one I picked up that really feels like a mobile game, and just because I wanted to have it, because I like to, like I said, I like getting these obscure sequels and these obscure tie-ins, and that game is Shadow Assault Tenchu. So Shadow Assault Tenchu, which was made by FromSoft. I guess that's when they got, I don't remember, had no idea From Software got the rights to Tenchu at some point, because I know they did Tenchu Z, and I'm guessing they did this one. And this one is so frustrating because it's kind of a puzzle game where you have to defeat the enemies, but you have a sword and you can't use it. or at least I didn't get deep enough in the game where you could use it. Instead, you got to use your ninja items to take the enemies out. And this one I want to say was $10. Not worth it. Not worth it in my opinion. I would skip this one all day long unless you are a Tenchu fan like myself and wanted to just have that version of it, because I've been picking up the Tenchus. Like I got Tenchu, the Tenchu 3, I got Tenchu Z. I think there's still one on the PS2 I need, but then this one was one I was not even aware of. And then more or less this feels like mobile game shovelware, but what are you going to do? I had no chance. I had no time left to get it. All right, and then the last one that is a pure download-only game that I actually bought back in the day and thought it was okay, but I have seen some people say this is a phenomenal survival game, and I feel like I need to go back to it, and that game is I Am Alive. So I Am Alive, I remember picking it up because it was one of those games that was in Game Informer that they had spoken about, and it just was so novel back then, downloading a game to my Xbox. Because I got this game, I got a game called Puddle that was decent enough, but nothing I'd really go out and buy. Then there's stuff like Spelunky and Bastion that were incredible. But this I Am Alive game was... I'm not a big survival game person, but it is one that has always intrigued me over the years, and I've always wanted to go back to it and finish it. And I think it was only $10, and one that enough people that I respect their opinion have said this is a fun game or a great game. So I'm just putting it out there for you guys to grab it if it sounds interesting. And it is a fun, stylistic game. It's kind of like a post-apocalyptic type game, but I don't remember it having tons of zombies as much as it was just humans fighting off other humans. Okay, now let's jump to some games that have free DLC. So these are games that even if you don't own the game, you can download this DLC for free and then have it ready to go. So that if you ever get the game, you have it. Because otherwise, there's not going to be much ways of getting it. So the first one we're going to talk about is everyone's newest favorite game that no one cared about a year ago, Bullet Witch. So nothing crazy on this one. There's some free DLC skins. So it's just costumes for whatever her name is, Alicia. So there's like a secretary outfit, like free outfits. You know what you're doing if you're buying that game. Now here's one that I had no idea about. If you want to find the DLC for this, you need to look for the game in the search, and you have to put in the exact name. Now the search in the game search is terrible. Literally, you can put it Dead to Rights, and it's not going to find it. You have to put in Dead to Rights Retribution and spell it right. But Dead to Rights Retribution, there is an entire free DLC called the GAC Pack. I highly doubt this was free at some point, but the game has been delisted, but the DLC is still there. And what that does is it gives you 2 additional basically campaign matches. One where you are doing an assault on the police station as the enemies, 2 different enemies that are fun to play around with. One's a sniper, one's a electric bruiser, and then the other one's kind of a horde mode with you and your dog. Then there's additional modes that you unlock. Think of them like cheat modes that you would have in GoldenEye or Turok that you unlock. One is a film noir mode where it makes the whole game look in black and white with noir shading. Another one where you have explosive action mode, so all your bullets explode. Well, not all of them, but they have like a 5-second delay. So if you're shooting a machine gun, the first one explodes, and then it'll explode after a while. So, and I mean, you can't do any achievements using these modes, but it's free. It's completely free. So that one, highly recommend picking that one up because holy heck, I had some fun playing the game. I really enjoyed Dead to Rights Retribution. It was one of the best games I've played here in the last couple of months. And that free DLC, make sure you have it because I definitely... not that it's world-breaking or anything, but it's fun to have the option, especially because, like I said, it's free. Now here's one that I did enjoy, but it's probably something I'd far more recommend playing on the PC, and that's Omerta City of Gangsters. There is a lot of DLC for this. There's several expansions, but there's one that's free. I think it's called Serious Business, and that unlocks a new campaign, unlocks some new characters, and if you like that, there are several other ones that are paid, so just get ready. You're going to drop a decent amount of change on that, but like I said, I believe those are still available on PC as well, and to be honest, on that game, I would still put people to the PC version, but if you want it on the Xbox, you can get it for free with the Serious Business, so that's cool. And I did mention this one before, so 2 Human is completely free. So this is free and the DLC is free. It's made by Silicon Knights. They got sued for stealing the Unreal Engine or something of that nature. So get the game. I mean, why? I mean, I of course I want it physically, but if you just want to play it, you can download the game for free, and it's pretty decent. Okay, so now the last ones we're going to talk about here are some paid DLCs for games. So these are not digital only, these are physical ones, but you can also get some DLC for it. So the first one I want to talk about was a game I played recently, Dark Messiah Might and Magic Elements. So this has a DLC where there's 4 classes to choose from at the beginning of the game. There's Warrior, Mage, Rogue, and Hunter. Or Thief and Hunter. Well, you can unlock 2 additional classes to start the game. You can have a Paladin, or you can have an Enchanter / Warlock. I like this game a lot, so the thought of adding 2 additional because it's not like Oblivion or Skyrim where you have a starting class, but then you can alter that pathway. In this game, the starting class you choose is your upgrade path. So there's no way to deviate from that. So that's why with this one, I wanted to make sure and have the option to do that if I wanted to down the line. So that's why I picked that one up. It's $5, nothing crazy. I did go through and I played as the Paladin. To be honest, it played almost identically. If anything, I couldn't tell a difference between it and the other one. But hey, I like that game, so it was worth it to me. Oh, pivoting back, I did forget a few of or at least 1 or 2 of the free ones. So one of the ones I forgot to mention was Project Sylphid. So there is an additional 6 missions for that where you can just download it. Another one you have to search for it, but it has a bunch of free DLC, and that's one of those games that I stupidly didn't pick up. It was like $12, $15. Now it's just gone up and up. I'll probably come across it someday for a deal, so I wanted to make sure I had that free DLC with basically, doubles the length of the game, adds a whole bunch more content. And then the other one, which I do have the copy of, it's over there, I just don't want to get up and get it while I'm in the middle of filming, is Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. There are 2 DLCs that are free for that, where you can play as one of the robot wolf dog things, or as a alternate character in their own story scenario. Think of it like the Ada Wong stuff from the original Resident Evil 4. It was crazy that they would just release these for free. So those are free, and Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance is incredible. So go ahead, download both of those. There's also costumes you can buy for it, but like I said, I'm just looking at the free DLC for that because that's the actual gameplay. I like the free gameplay. All right, back to the paid ones. So here's another game that was one of the best games I've played this month. There is a $10 paid DLC for this that opens up a second kind of adventure. It's not long. I think it's called... I can't remember. It's like a stealth thing with one of the characters, but that's Enslaved Odyssey to the West. Yeah, I said Journey to the West. It's Odyssey to the West. And there's a paid DLC where you can play as one of the other characters, and it's kind of more stealth-based, and it's complete story content. Now, there's also costumes you can download. There's some free DLC costumes you can download for that, too. But I'm really just more interested in opening that scenario, because, once again, I like the game a lot. And so I wanted to experience more of that world. And, it's not using Monkey and the girl. It's one of the other characters, but still something I thought I would check out. Another game that I was a little bit surprised had a paid DLC that opened up additional content was a game that I didn't love, but I did like it. And it's nice seeing more people get recognizing it too. And that game is Dark. So there's a $5 DLC for this that opens up some new additional missions, almost like a mini campaign as far as that goes. And it's just, I haven't put this in to play it, but it was one that I did enjoy it enough, and I just, for such an obscure game, one that's very expensive now, it's gonna get more pricey. If there's additional story content, I wanted it. I wanted to check it out because that's just how I am. One that's very affordable for a very good game that I have not had a chance to play yet, but I know I'm going to be one I really enjoy, is Lost Odyssey. So there's like a bonus dungeon. Think of it like the underwater dungeon, FF7 or something like that. There's like a big dungeon that's not in the game that's $1. So for $1, I'll pony up $1 so that I can have a end game dungeon with some new harder bosses, weapons, things like that. Like that's especially for an RPG. It just that's kind of my wheelhouse as far as games I like to really experience, and then whenever I get down to it, 20 years from now, I'll be glad I have that. Unless they re-release it, who knows? If they re-release it, that'd be nice. And then lastly here, with the games that I did buy the DLC for, that I think is almost required, is for Ashura's Wrath. So there are several chapters. There's an entire fourth. So there's 3 chapters to the game, and then it ends. But there's a 4th chapter they released that allegedly is the true ending of the game. I think it's $6 or $5.99. That's needed. That's necessary. And this is one of the best games on the Xbox 360 in my opinion. I really enjoyed my playthrough. So even if you don't have it, if you have no intentions of getting it, I think it's like $20. I would still say if you don't want to pay up for the physical release, that and then the chapter 4, get it. Now there's a few other additional chapters too that are $1.99 each. So all in, I think to get all the DLC is $14, which in my opinion is well worth it for this. One's where you're fighting Ryu, one's where you're fighting Akuma. So those are kind of just fun for the hell of it type thing. And then the other 2 I think is it animated only, so I don't know if it's interactive. I don't know. I like the game. I wanted to support it. I wanted to get it. So there you go. There are all the DLCs I got. Here's a bunch. There's more. There's other ones too. There's other people who've done better videos than I. Like, check out From the Void. That's where a lot of my information came from. A couple other YouTubers. I'll put them in the description too. But let me know. Let me know about any DLC I should pick up. Let me know about some DLC, or if you guys know about it. Because there's certain things that you wouldn't think of. Like, there's a DLC for Ride the Hell Retribution called the sushi pack or something. That's $3. Unfortunately, I bought the game on the PS3 because I couldn't find it on the Xbox. That's why I haven't mentioned it in any of these videos yet. But you can find it and download the DLC, which I've debated doing because I'd rather have it on the Xbox, even though the game is terrible, allegedly terrible. That's kind of the fun of it, right? And then there's 3 games here that I'm debating getting the DLC for as well. So there's a $5 paid DLC for The Killer is Dead. There's a $5 DLC that adds story content for Dante's Inferno. And then there's a $10 DLC for Prince of Persia, which I haven't mentioned yet. But there's a $10 one that's the epilogue, which much like Ashura's Wrath apparently is the true ending. Just, man, I can't stay. I'm a physical collector. Like, there's only so much digital I'm gonna buy here. And then there's other stuff on sale. Like, you can go buy Bionic Commando for $1. There's other things that you should pick up on the Xbox 360 sale. Things like Tornado Outbreaks, $5. Fatal Inertia's $20. But man, like, I wish they made the sale better. Like, the fact that Death Smiles 2 is still $30, or Fist of the North Star 2, I think it's $50 still. Like, you gotta be kidding me. And then no discounts on the DLC. It's sad, but it is what it is. But yeah, let me know if there's anything else I should pick up. Let me know if you've learned anything here. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. And hey, another week. Wow. We'll get back to the normal Xbox stuff next week. But I just thought, I felt like I had to do something before the store closes and give you guys some time to download them. Like, all that free DLC, if you have a working Xbox 360, just get it. There's no reason not to. There's so many more things too. Like, there's certain games that need a compatibility DLC to do the online, which I'm kind of past that point in caring about online, and most of the big online games got re-released. Like, Halo got re-released, Gears, so I'm not too concerned about it. But just look into it. And we're running out of time here. That's why I wanted to get this video out here. But thank you again for being here. Thank you guys so much for all the education you provided, for being here. I really your support means the world. I love doing this. Let me know what you thought about this video, and we'll get back to more Xbox next week. And I am getting ready to diverge from the Xbox here pretty soon, just because I'm running out of stuff. Unless you tell me about more. I mean, who knows? But anyways, it's been so nice getting a hold of you guys. Take care.